To show some of the results. This is an older male target who purchased a FLIR infrared camera, and he takes pictures. He was using the camera to photograph what was going on with this heat that is generated, and he says, I have no idea what this is or why it appears here or why it is a different temperature, but white in infrared shows hot. So this is his body. His butt is showing to the camera. And what he's showing is that around the area of his buttocks, he gets these white hot lights, or the heat. So I'm going to show you a picture of myself, not that anyone wants to look, but this is a picture of my buttocks. And this is what happens. It leaves a burn. It just burns the skin up. And it's symmetrical, so they're exactly the same. So if you were to look at like say a locational thing, it's symmetrical to each other in the location. So it's like a branding iron, but what it does is it actually burns the skin. That's active denial. That's the heat gun, if you want to call it. The high frequency, extreme high frequency electromagnetics that are just being placed on the body and leaving these massive levels of burns. So this man in this video is saying, he's saying that he uses to detect, he's a direct energy technology targeting effects. This is his body, and that's his back in a white t-shirt. There's some heat, but it actually shows during the course of the video how the area around his buttocks starts lighting up where the heat shows. And what happens is my skin gets burned. This is another picture of the buttocks. This was while I was in Italy, and once again it just burns your skin. The active denial system burns the skin. I mean, it's amazing. It just bubbles up. Here's another angle of what the blistering looks like after the active denial system. It permeates on the skin and it just burns. I think they use the buttock area because they feel that the target will probably be too humiliated to say anything or to have it documented or give it to law enforcement, because the active denial system left those type of burning scars. So they did it on the buttocks. Here's a better look at the buttock area and how they just put it on the butt and they just burn it with these active denial systems. Here's another one, not to see the crack of my ass, but I want to show how pervasive my targeting is with these weapons and how violent it is. It left me from a burn on the top crack all the way down. It was so bad. So I'm going to flick through some other ones. The same target that has the infrared. He also documents that he wakes up in the morning with these unusual cuts that show up on your body. So I've also had those same things happen to me. So I began to photograph a lot of these cuts that just show up on your biology. It's weird. They're like these hairline cuts. Here's another one. This was on my hand, where you just wake up one morning, there's no blood in the area, but there are these real razor sharp, blood red looking cuts that there's no blood, but there's just these straight line cuts like this. Here's another one where it's double on both sides, where you see one, if you see it further away, but you see one right there. There are these hairline cuts. It's really odd. And then you see the other one right there on the left hand side. You could barely see it, but it's like two straight line cuts. But they're always straight lines. There's no blood, and they're about that size in length. So I think here's another one of the arm. See how they're just straight line cuts like that. This guy has like a Y-shaped cut on his foot, or he found it on his foot. But I have the same, almost the same type of marking on my arm. Let's go really close. You can see these two little line markings like that, and they just show up. There are these line fractures. So the one on the left is a little bit harder to see. I guess you can see it if I go in closer to the arm. And then this is the one on the right side or left side, however you want to put it, because I think the arm's flipped over. And all of a sudden you see these markings. What happens is when you use the active denial system or the heat, it begins to set markings on the cornea area. I don't know if you could see it. It looks like your eyes are almost bloodshot. But what it is it's burning the outer layers of your cornea. So it's leaving these red type of bloodshot marks on the eye. And it's painful because it's burning that outer layer of the cornea. It's harder to see. This one is important because you can see a line right there. I took a hit in December of 2011. And I was laying on the bed at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just watching TV, and I felt heat, like a laser, just cutting right through the side of my eye. It was probably microwave, it was directional, but what it did was it left this weird mark on my eye. This is my right cornea. It's from the inside, and then it moves in towards. So it's the right side would be in close to the nose running in. And there's this red line mark on the cornea. That scar, if you can see it as I pull into it, that red line right there is still on my eye, and we're in September of 2011. So I think there's a large-scale scar, similar to those cuts that you get. Maybe if I dimmed it, see if it'll come in a little bit better. Okay, so I'm dimming it just so that you can see it a little bit better. And I believe that those same cuts that you see on my outer biological was what's used, because if you look at it, it's a straight line cut. Just like the arm or the hand. And so these are the type of hits that I take in the privacy of my home, while these residential domestic terrorists have access to these United States military grade weapons, and they fire them. And I documented it immediately, but the scar is still there. It's never gone away, but it looks just like those cut lines where it's perfect, it's almost perfectly straight. It's the same type of thickness or length, or if you want to call it. So that's my right cornea, damaged probably for life, because it's never gone away, and it's almost a year later. So this is the left eye on the outer rim going towards the nose. The other one is the inner from the nose going out from the right. This is actually the left eye, and it goes from the left outer by the ear moving in. So I think when I took that hit that night, it also did some damage to the left side of the cornea, where it just burned this whole area here. So it burned that whole area, and then it left from the right side that marking area. Right, so it came in from the left of the ear, and then all this stuff that you're seeing here is all the damage that it's filtered. The pulse went across the eye to the inner part of the nose. So it went from the left side, came in through, and then it just started cutting right through here into my eye. And these are the type of weapons that they fire at you in the privacy of your home. And these are the type of damages that I have sustained.